Hello guys, it's the review crew here with as promised with our last review, Gamera, right? That's how you say it, right, Gamera?
Yeah.
Okay. We did Gojira, or Godzilla, the first of the Godzilla movies. And as usual,
catchy theme song.
Yeah, and as usual, we'll start with the story. You can start it off this time.
So basically, Gojira, or Godzilla, or Gojira, I don't even know how you're supposed to say it. I say Gojira, but it's completely different. Basically, he was a prehistoric dinosaur who was somehow surviving in the ocean, I think as I don't even know, some kind of weird...
Well, he got hit by an atomic bomb, and that's probably what made him grow. And
he was hit by multiple atomic bombs, which he absorbed the radiation of, so he grew. And then he was asleep for a long time.
But the H-bomb woke him up, the whole Lucky Dragon 5 thing.
Yeah.
Bikini Atoll.
That blew up, and that woke him up. And then he was pissed, I guess, and he started to attack Tokyo, as every giant monster does. So as he was attacking Tokyo, people were finding like, oh my god, there's a giant monster. And then some old guy who we never learned the name of was like, it's Godzilla. He lives in the sea. Like, where did this guy come from? But apparently, whatever, he's plot development. So I guess it works. We never get the name of him, though. But as it's going on and everything, kind of losing my train of thought right now. Oh, as it's going on, people are trying to figure out, okay, how do we stop him? They tried missiles.
But before I forget the missiles, they missed. They missed big time.
Like,
I'm sorry, I'm not the greatest shot, but I can guarantee you, I would have gotten Godzilla in the back of the fucking head with a missile. I can guarantee you that.
Like, here's Godzilla, like, just pretend he's right here. Missile this way, missile this way, missile this way, missile this way underneath his leg somehow. I doubt that even happen, but whatever. Like, that's how bad their aim is. Of course, we know it's a movie, but I mean, come on, one can at least hit him. And I know this was made...
He's walking in a straight line, too.
Yeah, and I know this was made, like, years ago.
54.
Yeah, I mean, and I know they're not going to remake it just because we say, oh, hit him once. But I mean, like, while they were making it, one missile could have hit the fucker. But no, you know, they're just like, oh, whatever, we'll just make them all miss. Because they're all stupid. And I'm going to hold back any racist comments. But, as it's going on, this doctor, what's his name again?
Shirazuwa or something.
Yeah, something like that. Apparently he created a way to kill him, and no one else knows of it except for him and this one chick who thinks he's a brother to her. So they're talking, and apparently it's a oxygen bomb, I think.
Oxygen destroyer.
Oxygen destroyer, thank you very much. Basically, it does what it says. It destroys the oxygen wherever it is made to destroy the oxygen. So as the story goes on, she knows of this, and Godzilla comes and makes a sea of fire, basically, of Tokyo. He just destroys everything in his path and then goes off into the sea. And the woman who knows of the oxygen destroyer is in a hospital or a classroom or something, I don't know, it looks like a hospital, helping treat people, and goes to her fiancé and says, hey, this guy that I know is a brother, he created this bomb.
Oh, she's not like, he isn't her literal brother.
Yeah, it's a not blood related brother, but like saying that Matt's my brother. We're not blood related. I just see him as a brother because we've known each other for such a long time. So she tells her fiance about this, and they both go to his house to try and make him use the oxygen destroyer on Godzilla. And kind of skipping way back, there's this. The way that they figured out about Godzilla and what he was there's this paleontologist, a dinosaur expert, who went to study him and told the whole entire Japanese security people about him, and like, okay, well, we need to find out a way. Skipping back forward, oxygen destroyer. The scientist who created it didn't want to use it because he was scared that people would torture him to make him make another one as a weapon to go kill people. But then he figures out a way not to do it. He burns all his research, and I'll tell you how he is not capturing everything at the end of the movie. So they are getting ready. He made the big pill needle looking thingy that holds it all in place, and they go off on a ship. On the ship, he's saying, hey, give me a diving suit, I'm gonna go down there alone. The chick's fiance is like, no, you're not going down there alone, I'll do it. The guy's like, let's do it together. He's like, okay. And then the guy says again, let me go down there alone. Fiance's like, no, I'm not letting you go down there alone. I'm not letting someone without any diving experience go down there by themselves. The guy's like, okay, you can come down there with me. So, and I use my hands a lot. I know I should have probably said this a long time ago. It's offside. Let's get back on the main point. So as he is getting ready to go dive, they're all getting ready and everything, and they go down. So they start bringing him down. They're letting him down, letting him down, letting him down, and they hit bottom. And Godzilla's just sitting there, probably wanking off or whatever he does in his spare time. He's just sitting there like, probably like, and well, they're just walking around. I guess he noticed them, and he stands up and he starts walking, probably boner flying, and
Walking underwater, I must add.
well, I mean, it's not all that hard. I mean, he's big enough.
I guess, but yeah, I just can't get over the fact that in later movies we see him like walking, like he's walking in water, but you know he's above the water.
Well, because that's shallower. They're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, but he was also in the middle of the ocean in those shots too, like in Desert Droya and stuff.
Well, I don't know. Maybe his tail's like doing something under the. Well, no, he can't because it's flapping above. Maybe his feet like kind of doing that paddle thing.
Yeah,
like just,
that's all I can really assume.
yeah. So we don't know, but he's walking underwater, and the guys see him, and then so they tell the people above to start pulling up. So the chick's fiance is the first one to get pulled up, and the other guy's just chilling down there, being like, "I'm a badass." Got an eye patch and shit. He got that from the war, I'm assuming.
It's never really fully explained. All they say is if it wasn't for the war, something.
He wouldn't have gotten that scar, so I guess it's from the war. So, he's still down there, and he releases the atom bomb as soon as... Not atom bomb, Jesus Christ. He releases the oxygen destroyer, thank you very much. As soon as the other guy surfaces, he just opens it and it just goes. And Godzilla's starting to get harmed by it. And the doctor's just standing there like, I'm a badass. Got an eye patch still. Fuck all you guys. I'm assuming that's what's going through his head. So the other guy's calling him on this radio saying, hey, where are you? Are you okay? What's going on down there? And the guy's like, oh yeah, it's working. Now I'm going to cut my lifeline and die down here to make sure that my stuff never gets used again. Which, that's how he never got captured or anything. He killed himself. He committed suicide for a good cause. He killed Godzilla. His skeleton's down there, and you will see that later on in another Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla movie. I'm done with all the talking. Matt's turn.
There are a couple of, I guess, flubs in the movie, such with editing or with the set. For instance, in one of the scenes, a guy will be talking to the fiancée, and when he leaves, he goes to the door, closes the door, and you can actually still see him. Like, I don't really know where, like, behind the set, I guess. I'm not quite sure if that was intentional or if that was a mistake. Another one is kind of like a little bit of a editing inconsistency. For instance, it's kind of hard to explain, so I'll just kind of show you. Like, the fiancé is like this, but then he puts his hand down, but it cuts the woman again. But then, like, almost a second later, it cuts the fiancé again with his hands like this again, putting it down. So, I'm not, it's not like a huge problem, but...
Just little minor flaws that we noticed because, well, we have nothing else better to do but to talk to a camera
and I'm trying to remember what I was going to say.
Also, when they first showed you the oxygen destroyer, it showed the scientist and the woman, and it's in a fish tank. But you don't see it work right away. And then for about, like, maybe 45 minutes, they build up to what is it? Kind of, to my eyes, it's a little bit anticlimactic. I mean, I know it's not going to be some huge bomb that's going to explode, but I mean, like, I'd like to see a little bit more special effect. They chose not to shoot in color because the black and white hides the wires and everything.
Actually, and also because it was actually cheaper.
And cheaper and everything. So, I mean...
They actually pushed to get it colored, but I think for some... I don't know why, but they chose to go with black and white.
Yeah, so... I mean... They had color technology, and I know it's more expensive, but I mean, a little bit more editing I'd like to see, like, maybe see, like, flashing or something as they get dissolved, as the fish get dissolved, so we know something is going on, instead of just swim, oh, disappear into bones, oh, bones disappear. I'd like to see maybe just little bit of things like eating away, maybe like a little bit of the scales kind of disappearing, and then watch it dissolve. Because then I know, okay, so they just got dissolved.
Yeah, it was pretty anticlimactic, and after like 45 minutes, it just doesn't seem like much. And also, it's just like, oh yeah, that'll stop Godzilla.
Well, it did, but I mean...
Yeah, but it just didn't like really seem like it would. I don't know. I guess I was kind of expecting maybe something bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe not an explosion, but something more. I understand it was made in 54. But, well, let's talk about some more of the positive things. For instance, the special effects were actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, such as Destroy Tokyo as it's all burning and such.
The flames were actually pretty cool for the time. I mean, sure, it might have been just like a fog machine doing it, but I mean, like, it's still pretty cool. How things just melted right away. Power lines, I mean, the fog hits it, and then all of a sudden they just bend. I mean, that was like, oh my god, like, for the time, that was actually pretty cool.
With Godzilla's atomic breath, though, it was kind of hard to tell what it was. It just looked like it was blowing smoke, and that was about it.
Yeah, and of course, that's to be expected for 54, but I mean, like, where the animation wasn't as good as it is today, but I mean, for the time, I mean, that was really good. I mean, I still enjoy it even now.
And also, the movie actually did get nominated for 2 awards. One being Best Special Effects, which I think it won, and it was nominated for Best Movie, Best Screenplay, something along those lines. Oh, before I forget, Godzilla's a very, like this, the original one is very well respected and well liked by many people. However, when it first came out in Japan, it got a lot of negative reviews. A lot of people commented on how they thought it was exploiting, I guess, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki events, and also the Lucky Dragon 5 event, which was the Bikini Atoll H-bomb that affected a Japanese fishing boat that was a couple miles off, but the fallout reached it. But over years, it did get better. People were starting to respect it a little more. I'm not quite sure what changed their minds.
Maybe
being held up at gunpoint.
Maybe they just saw it as a different point of view.
Perhaps, and honestly, I'm not quite sure what else to add other than I have to give props to the guy that wore the Godzilla costume. According to what I've heard, it was torture. Like, the first Godzilla costume was so bad that it was real stiff and so heavy they couldn't do anything with. The one that they finally went with, actually, they had to include a valve in it to drain the sweat. They can only film for 3 minutes at a time, otherwise the actor would have suffocated. Then there is also heat exhaustion and dehydration problems the guy must have faced. And the guy continued this role until 1972 with Godzilla movies.
So, I mean,
I have to give this guy props. He stuck through it.
This guy's got balls. So, I mean, I guess we don't really have anything else to add, but I mean, like...
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this movie is really good. I enjoyed it. My dad's a huge Godzilla fan, so this is where we get all the Godzilla movies from. It's from me. Thanks, Dad. And, I mean, overall, I think this is just a great movie. I enjoyed it a lot, even though it had English subtitles.
Yeah.
If you want to watch the American version of this...
it has to be called Godzilla King of Monsters, I think.
King of Monsters, that's the one you want to
watch. I just want to say something about the acting.
Okay.
To be honest, it was kind of hard to judge the acting because it was in a completely different language I couldn't understand a damn thing about. I wasn't focusing on when the actors were talking. I was busy reading the subtitles. But, to me, the acting was actually pretty good. I mean...
Yeah, the acting...
Probably better than the other monster movies we've seen with the English dubbing, but I guess that's to be expected because, the lip-syncing looks right, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, this movie is good. You want to give it a rating?
Yeah, just... Now... I know I've already mentioned this a few times, but I hated Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster because it was just plain shit. Godzilla vs. Destroy was okay, but pretty boring compared to any of the other ones I saw. Godzilla Giant Monsters All Out Attack was really good because of all the amazing monster fights and such. And Gamera was also very impressive. But I think I might actually like this movie more than any of those. I don't know, something about it just seems more impressive. Maybe because it's not giant monsters fighting, it does focus on people, but not too damn much.
So what would you rate it?
Honestly, I think I'd have to give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I would definitely recommend this.
I'd have to agree. 5 out of 5. This movie, for the time, I guess. If I was in that time, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. But I mean, now looking at it from a better point of view, from where I am, I'd honestly give it a 5 out of 5.
This is definitely a movie we absolutely recommend. Like, it's a must see. Like, even if you don't care too much for monster movies, I think you'll find this one pretty enjoyable. And that is the review crew giving our review on Gojira, or otherwise known as Godzilla. We give it a 5 out of 5 stars, and check it out. Later.